What were you guys working on today in practice?
Today we're just working on breaking down a low block from Pittsburgh. We're working on like transitions, just getting better at closing out games. I think we did so well on Saturday, but we have a 5-minute lapse. We're working on defending the transition, defending the box. As you see, the intensity is good, so I think we're in the right path.
Talk about closing out games, but you also want to start a game.
Yeah.
Great. And get the upper hand. Anything in particular you guys are doing to try to make that happen?
Yeah, for sure. We're working on getting more numbers in the box. I think the more numbers in the box, the easier chances we get like tap-ins. I know we have the guys that could score worldies, shots from out of the box, but I think tap-ins have a higher percentage, so we're working on just getting numbers in the box and getting good crosses.
What does it say about this team that it's already had as many wins this year as it did all of last year? I know it's a mostly new group, but that's got to feel like sort of turning the page in a good way.
No, for sure. I think we expect we set ourselves with a high standard, and I hope the fans and everybody else hold us at that standard too, because we hold ourselves that way. I expect us to not just be a playoff team, but to challenge for the title. I know it's taking some time, but as you guys said, like there's a complete overall 22 different guys, new coaching staff, so good things take time. So again, like we hold ourselves to a high standard. Just unfortunately that we're not getting it now, but I think we're in a good momentum now, at least at home.
You got a very tough Pittsburgh team coming in. What do you expect from them on Saturday, and how do you plan to tackle that game?
Yeah, like a typical Bob Lilly team, very organized, very systematic, defend very well. They have like 5 clean sheets. Also, their expected goals is one of the highest in the league, so we're going to have to be good defensively. But I think at home with our fans and just with the momentum we have now, and we have a couple of guys back from the international break, I think we have the momentum now. It's just for us to be patient, as you said, try to get a quick start. Most of their games when they got scored on first, they normally lose. So if we could get one first, that'd be good for us. But no matter what, our aim is to keep a clean sheet and try to get a result at home.
Danny played a lot of minutes in the last game. What has his presence meant to this team?
For sure. Danny brings like a wealth of experience, honestly. Like every now and then he whispers things to me that I definitely miss. Says it to the group, the midfielders, the guys up top. And when he came on Saturday, you could see like the game calmed down a little bit. He's a guy that we could give the ball, he could buy a foul. He could definitely calm it down. He could beat 2-3 guys, settle it down, move it, get us going, give us confidence on it. And as you can see, I think he's been training really, really well. You know, he's getting fitter and fitter. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Dan, you got a lot of minutes in the last game. How would you assess your own performance?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was just kind of getting back into it. I've been feeling like I've been getting better form in the last month or so. And yeah, I felt good. I felt dangerous. I felt like every time I got the ball, I was looking to penetrate and attack and make something happen. So yeah, I was happy with that.
You're a veteran in this league. You've been here, for a long time. How did it feel, after maybe taking on a less playing role, to finally get back out there on the field and contribute?
Yeah, it felt great. Obviously, another new coach, another 20 new players. So obviously, it takes time to kind of let the whole team develop and see where things lie. And I'm happy that I'm feeling fit. I'm focused, and that now I can really contribute to what we have going on.
Because you've seen so much, you can probably speak better than anybody to how different this team feels this year than it was last year. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, as far as talent goes, I think this is the most talent we've had in the last 5 years since the start of the club. And as far as organization and culture of the club, it's phenomenal with the facilities. I think it's all really coming together. I think Brendan and Wheels, Joe Lucas, they're all doing a great job of cultivating a great environment. And I think with this much talent and obviously everyone just kind of getting to know each other as well, it's only a matter of time before things start clicking.
How have you sort of acted as maybe a mentor for some of the younger guys who are newer to the professional game or to this league?
Yeah, I think my main thing that I feel like is leading by example. Obviously coming in and not knowing where my role was going to be can be difficult. But if anything, I would tell younger guys that, patience is part of this game, and you can't get impatient in this game. You can't get too excited when things are going great, and you can't get too down when things aren't going your way. I think I've been patient and just waiting for my shot.
When you were a younger player, did you turn to who you saw were leaders as guys who led by example?
Yeah, of course. I think one thing that I've been lucky enough to do in my career is play with a lot of great players and have that mentality of, I want to be a sponge. Whether it's learning from every coach I've had to every player, and it doesn't just go one way. I think the younger players teach me things as well, like what's going on in the world. So, it goes both ways.
You know Pittsburgh pretty well at this point. How would you evaluate them?
I mean, Pittsburgh is very systematic. Every year, I'm not sure I've ever seen them not make playoffs. So, Bob Lilly always has his soldiers in line, I would say, and they're always a tough team to break down. They're always solid defensively. They're always a hardworking team, blue-collar team. So, it's pretty obvious what they're going to be like. So it always takes a good battle to get a result against them.
Personally, what have you enjoyed the most about this season? Even though your role's been a little bit different, is there something that you've really, really enjoyed aside from entering the Aliens?
Yeah, no, I think I just enjoyed the level of professionalism that this club has now. Like I said, with the new facilities, like a beautiful grass pitch. I mean, there's nothing better than going out every day and doing what you love in a beautiful environment. It really lets you thrive, and for me, I think that's been the most enjoyable thing, the consistency of professionalism.
How does it feel to be practicing out here versus in there?
Oh, it's nice. Yeah, we've been on the grass for the most part. We're not able to this week, but it's a lot easier on the body, so it's been really good for the guys to be outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. The mood's a lot lighter. That over the course of the next few months will be a really nice change.
Anything in particular you were working on today?
Yeah, our transition shape and timing, having more guys arrive in the box, that's been an issue for us. I thought we performed very well in New Mexico, and those few moments that we had going forward where we were on the ball and able to penetrate, we didn't show up with enough bodies to finish a play. So that was the main focus of today's session, and then a little bit on the box defending side, where we let ourselves down right at the end of the game after such a good defensive performance.
I know you have really high standards for this team, but 20 games left to go and already as many wins as they had last year. What can you say about the growth of this new group of guys?
Yeah, I think it's really positive. I mean, we are frustrated right now with some of the results. You lose to Charleston 1-0 on the road. You lose to New Mexico 1-0 in the last 5 minutes. So those are games we expect to win in the future, quite frankly, but we're not right now. And that's part of changing the culture. That's part of changing the group's mindset to expect that from ourselves, all of us collectively. But I've seen so many signs of positive growth. We have a winning record at home, 6 games in. That's a third of the way through the home season. And we need to carry that on to give ourselves a foundation to go on the road and get results later in the year.
And I know prior to New Mexico, you had talked about giving up those early goals and having to chase the game so much. You didn't have to do that for the most part in New Mexico. What did you like about the defensive performance?
It was collective. Everyone was doing their running until the last 5-7 minutes, and there were some guys that needed to be held accountable for not running as hard as they could. There's no excuse for that at this level. Really, at any level of the game, if you enjoy the game, you have to do the basic defensive running to get your team structure right. And we did that for 85 minutes and then took our foot off the gas for a second and paid for it. So changes will be made because of that.
How did you deal, I know with the international call-up, some injuries as well, you were pretty short-handed. Danny got a run into the second half. I mean, how did you deal with that, and how do you think the team responded?
I thought we were excellent. That was one of our best collective defensive performances from the back to the front. I thought we were in control of the game for large spells. In the second half, we really started to grow on the ball and gain confidence because we left ourselves not chasing the game. We were able to dictate the spaces where the game was played a little more. And that absolutely has to be a focus with Pittsburgh. They're a very, very well coached, system-oriented team that are going to get a lot of service in.
And speaking of Danny, what's it like having him there as a veteran presence, but still trying to find his footing in terms of rotation and things like that?
Yeah, I think at his age, he's growing into the season. What I've seen is he's been one of the best players in training for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and he's right on the fringe of starting games here. And that's awesome to have a guy like that with such a positive attitude and a great history with the club. He's a good ambassador for the club. I've been really happy to see him grow into the team, and I know the team enjoy being around him.
I mean, besides what he gives you off the field, which is obviously a huge veteran presence, do you see him getting maybe more minutes as the season rolls out?
Absolutely, I do. I just gave him 45, and he wasn't getting that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So, and he said it to me point blank. He's ready. He feels better in the summer. I mean, which is understandable at his age. And like I said, he's just training really well. And I've always put a lot of stock in how you train translating on the weekend.
How short-handed do you plan to be this weekend, or do you think you'll have everybody?
I think we'll have everyone on the roster available this weekend. We are making some changes this week that'll, if they're not out already, will be coming out in the next day or so. And they're big changes, but I felt they needed to be made for the mentality of the group, just to help us continue to sharpen ourselves toward, like I said, what our expectations are of each other going forward.
And like I said, the schedule doesn't get much easier. You got Pittsburgh, who's usually a very good team in this league, coming in on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
How do you expect to deal with them? I mean, maybe what do you expect from them, and how are you going to go into that game? How are you going to approach it?
Yeah, they were top of the East last year, and they're in the playoffs every year, and I have huge respect for Bob. He's been there a long time there in Rochester. You have to bring the fight to the game when you play them. They're a bigger team. They're physical. They're not overly direct, but they're direct in some ways. So you have to be ready to defend collectively. So that'll be really important. They present a totally different challenge than what New Mexico did.
Do you guys keep one eye on the standings at this point in the year, or is that not something you pay attention to until later?
Not really. We need to just dial in on ourselves. I think that's the best way to approach the whole first half of the season, and then maybe you take a peek, but it doesn't really matter. If you get on a 3-game winning streak in this league, you're within touching distance of the playoffs. If you get on 2 of them, you're probably going to be in the playoffs. So we already kind of had one in that early pocket. We need to find another one here soon. But like I said, the home form's been really good. That Rhode Island game definitely could have been 3 points instead of 1, but it doesn't get any easier, to your point, with Pittsburgh and Tampa coming.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.